Amari Williams was snubbed at the SEC Awards. Was that a mistake? Before I get into that, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and receive more news from the Wildcats. Amari Williams' absence from the Southeastern Conference, SEC, honors is an omission that resonates as a glaring error, a decision that borders on unfair when objectively analyzing the center's impact on the Kentucky Wildcat season. While Otega Owa deservedly received second-team All-SEC recognition for his offensive contributions and consistent leadership, the silence surrounding Williams seems more a reflection of the subjective limitations of the selection process than a fair assessment of his performance. Amari Williams was not only an important piece for the Wildcats this season. He was, in many ways, the pillar that held the team together in crucial moments. His dominant presence in the paint has transformed Kentucky into a resilient defensive team that can intimidate opponents with its elite rim protection. Additionally, Williams has made impressive progress in his ability to contribute offensively, especially when the team has had to deal with the absence of Lamont Butler. He has not only maintained his consistency, but has expanded his influence, becoming a reliable distributor and efficient finisher. The numbers speak for themselves. Williams played in all 31 regular season games, displaying remarkable reliability while accumulating statistics that reflect his value. He recorded 8 double-doubles and even a triple-double during the SEC campaign, a rare feat that demonstrates his versatility and ability to impact the game in multiple areas. To further contextualize this evolution, it is worth noting that prior to the start of the conference, Williams had only recorded 2 double-doubles. The dramatic improvement in his performance against SEC teams is a clear testament to his ability to thrive under pressure and rise to greater challenges. Yet despite these impressive numbers and his undeniable importance to Kentucky's collective success, Williams was overlooked on the SEC's All-SEC All-3 team and was also left off the All-Defensive team. That omission is hard to justify, especially when you consider that other players who have been recognized have not always demonstrated the same level of consistency or direct impact on the game. While the SEC is a tough competition, that should not be used as an excuse to completely overlook someone who has been so integral to his team. Williams's absence from the conference honors is all the more frustrating when you compare his trajectory to that of other contenders. Not only has he improved throughout the season, but he has also shown adaptability and leadership on a roster full of young talent and transfer players. His defensive work, in particular, warranted at least an honorable mention on the SEC All-Defensive team. Few players in the league have been as effective at changing the course of plays with his blocking and intimidating presence in the paint. Now, with the SEC tournament just around the corner, Amari Williams will have the opportunity to prove on the court just how misguided the conference coach's decision was. When Kentucky steps into action on Thursday against the winner of Georgia and Oklahoma, all eyes will be on Williams, who has the chance to show the world the value that many have seemingly overlooked. His determination to answer criticism with performance will be a crucial factor in the Wildcats' playoff hopes. Coach Mark Pope certainly knows how valuable Amari Williams is to this team. From the start of the season, Pope has stressed the importance of building a system where all players can thrive, and Williams embodies that ideal. His dedication to individual and collective development is evident in every minute he spends on the court, and his resilience in the face of this disappointment should fuel a memorable performance in the playoffs. While individual awards are important, they don't always tell the full story of a player or his contribution to the team. In the case of Amari Williams, the lack of official recognition doesn't diminish his importance to Kentucky. On the contrary, it further highlights the character and work ethic that define his approach to the sport. Now, it's up to him to use this extra motivation to make waves in upcoming tournaments and, who knows, force those who have ignored him to reconsider their choices. Who knows, maybe next time Amari Williams will come out on top. Let's keep going. Grading Mark Pope's first year as head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats is a balancing act. as his 2024 to 2025 season combines bright spots with significant challenges. With a 21-10 overall record, the campaign was not perfect, but it also cannot be dismissed as mediocre or disappointing. Instead, it reflects the complexities of transitioning, for both a coach and a program, into a competitive landscape filled with expectations. Mark Pope's early impact at Kentucky was nothing short of electrifying. The opening round victory over Duke in the Champions Classic was a clear sign that something new and promising was happening in Lexington. That triumph over one of college basketball's most storied rivals not only boosted team morale, but also showed the nation that Pope had the ability to lead Kentucky to a high level from the start. His subsequent accomplishments have been equally impressive. Defeating Gonzaga, one of the most consistent programs of the past decade, in Seattle was another highlight that cemented Pope's status as a shrewd tactician. Additionally, beating Tennessee twice in a single season and continuing the tradition of dominating Louisville demonstrated that the Wildcats still have the ability to compete with the best in the SEC and beyond. Another notable milestone was the explosive 106-point win over Florida at Rupp Arena, a reminder of the offensive prowess Pope has built into his system. Closing the regular season with a road win against Missouri, ranked among the top 15 teams in the country, was the icing on the cake. That last performance highlighted the team's resilience and served as proof that even in the face of adversity, the Wildcats could overcome. Statistically, Pope also made history by defeating 8 teams ranked in the top 15, tying legendary teams like 1992-93 Indiana and 1978-79 Duke for that feat that puts his first year in a historical context that deserves recognition. However, not everything was perfect. The team's 10 losses over the course of the season, some by wide margins, raises questions about the team's consistency. Injuries and defensive issues contributed to an uneven second half of the season, where the initial momentum seemed to have dissipated. For a fan base accustomed to seeing Kentucky as a perennial powerhouse, those setbacks may have been hard to swallow. Still, it's important to put these struggles into context. Pope inherited a program in transition, with a mix of transfers, veterans, and freshmen. Building chemistry and cohesion across such a diverse roster is a monumental challenge, especially in a conference as competitive as the SEC. Additionally, injuries at key positions have hurt the team's depth at critical times, forcing young players to take on more responsible roles sooner than expected. Whether Mark Pope's first year, which is still in quotation marks because it's not over, is a success or a failure depends largely on how you judge the season. For the more stern critics, the 10 losses and the lack of a higher ranking in the final rankings may be seen as disappointing. But for those who consider the bigger picture, including the tactical changes, the adaptation to a modern style of play, and the impressive wins against elite opponents, it's clear that Pope has laid the groundwork for something promising. His philosophy of turning frustration into fight was tested repeatedly throughout the season, and he proved capable of maintaining composure and motivating his team even in difficult moments. The fact that the Wildcats ended the regular season with an impressive win over Missouri is a reflection of this resilient mindset. Mark Pope's first year as Kentucky's head coach can be classified as a partial success, but with great potential for growth, there are still some things left to do. He brought a new approach to offense, revitalized the atmosphere around the program, and delivered memorable wins that have BBN excited about the future. While there is room for improvement, especially in terms of consistency and defense, the overall balance of the season is positive. If Pope can retain the current core and continue to mold the team in his image, there is compelling reason to believe that this season will be remembered as the beginning of a promising era in Lexington. As the coach himself says, "What do we do with frustration? We turn it into fight." And that fight is certainly paying off. I want to hear your thoughts.